For the makers who lead, success isn't measured in promises. It's measured in results. At Rockwell Automation, our 24,000 employees across the globe focus every day on delivering business results for our customers. Because with every result achieved, we realize the promise of expanding human possibilities. That's why we're Rockwell. Our customers make products and deliver solutions that touch all of our lives. And they partner with us to realize measurable, consistent, and profitable business outcomes, delivering the real results they and their customers depend on. The people of Rockwell and our vast production technology portfolio make a real difference in industrial production quality, speed, and efficiency. Making a difference in ramping up adequate supplies of life-saving vaccines. Making a difference by helping deliver vehicles that are affordable, efficient, and safe. Making a difference by engineering sustainability into every system and solution we deliver. Because at Rockwell, we believe better is possible. And the results we deliver add value for our customers every day, in every industry we serve. Our systems connect your company end-to-end with data-fueled insights, improving the decisions that deliver results and expanding human possibilities. Rockwell Automation. Results achieved.
Hello and welcome to our live stream today. My name is Nicole Belanda. I'm the Customer Advocacy Program Manager for Rockwell Automation. And we're here to talk about something that we at Rockwell have been working very hard on for the last several months. And that is the 10th Annual State of Smart Manufacturing Report. And we'll also talk a little bit about the webinar we have coming up next week, Wednesday, as well. We have a lot of information to share with you. And before we jump in, I just want to say thank you for joining our live stream, for being here today, wherever you're joining us from. If you have comments or commentary as we're going through this, put it down below. We'll be here, we'll be looking at it, we'll be responding to you. We're interested to hear what your thoughts are about this report and the work that we've been doing. So put it down below. And if you don't know what the report is or you haven't downloaded it yet, shame on you, no, just kidding. You can download it right now. It's at ROK.auto, AUTO, and then a /SOSM for State of Smart Manufacturing. So ROK.auto /SOSM. So go get it. If you haven't downloaded the report yet, now's your chance to do that. All right, so report itself, fantastic, but maybe even more exciting is being able to hear from some of our experts at Rockwell Automation about what we think this report and this data means. So today, joining me is Andy Stump, our Director of Technical Enablement, Vicki Bruce, our Global Capacity Manager of Cybersecurity Services, and Jordan Reynolds, our Vice President of Artificial Intelligence and Autonomy. So Andy and Vicki and Jordan, thank you all for being here to join me.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Andy, we're going to start with you. So Vicki and Jordan, you can chill for a minute here, but Andy, I was so excited to be able to talk to you about this. Can you share with everybody who's listening, why is this report valuable? Why do we spend months and months working on this at Rockwell? What makes it worth it?
Yeah, thanks, Nicole. I mean, that's a great question. We know that peer insights are extremely important in the manufacturing space, and the report delivers just that. This year's report once again identifies what's top of mind for manufacturing executives around the globe. These results are really consistent across all of the different industries, and they focus on addressing workforce challenges, the mitigating cybersecurity risks, and adopting new technologies like artificial intelligence. And that's what matters most in today's digital transformation race. It also highlights that the end goal of all of this continues to be driving manufacturing efficiencies and improving quality overall. That's really the focus of all of this, is to drive value for manufacturers.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, this is our 10th year that we've been doing this report. And those trends you just mentioned, we've seen them all 10 years. You know, it looks a little bit different in what we're doing to address those trends. but it's been kind of neat to watch this report evolve from the very first report all the way through today. There's definitely some threads that we're following all 10 years. So speaking of following threads, let's talk about how this report maybe could impact future planning for manufacturers as they're reading it, maybe thinking about what they want to do in the coming years for their technology investments.
Yeah, these insights absolutely impact how manufacturers, the decision makers, are making those budgeting decisions. This report goes into a lot of detail on how over 1,000 manufacturers polled are planning to invest in the future. And that's incredibly powerful information to understand like what's on the horizon in the manufacturing sector, and to use that knowledge and how manufacturing decision makers are planning to spend their money. It really sheds a lot of light on the shifts that we're expecting to see take place in the future. And of course, this takes some of the guesswork out of these really critical strategic decisions that manufacturers are facing every day. Gives them confidence that they can see what their peers are going to do across the industry.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Andy. So, Andy, you'll be part of our webinar that's taking place to dive deeper into the State of Smart Manufacturing report. And just so everyone knows, we, of course, have a little outline of what we're going to talk about today, but I am a little evil. So, Andy, what was something from the State of Smart Manufacturing report this year that either got you excited or maybe surprised you or completely didn't surprise you because you were expecting it? What was your takeaway from the report?
Yeah, what I loved about this year's report is it drew a lot of continuity from last year, but it demonstrated the things that were talked about last year from our leaders were actually those things that were done, right? The things that they focused on. And it just rings true that the insight is really valuable. And I think it gives a lot of credibility for leaders around the world to get this information from the report and really know that it's the thing that leaders making decisions really are going to act on in the next year ahead.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, we don't have a crystal ball, but it was very affirming to read some of what we saw this year and be like, okay, that is what we thought would be happening. So good. I'm glad you saw that too. All right, let's shift gears a little bit. We'll give Andy a break since I just put him on the spot, and we'll switch over to Vicki Bruce. So Vicki, our resident cybersecurity expert, there was a stat in the report that really caught my eye, and I'm going to read it. So it was from Black Kite, and they said that the manufacturing sector accounts for 21% of ransomware attacks. That is huge. So tell us, what was maybe some insights from the report that could help manufacturers address those cybersecurity challenges?
Yeah, thank you very much, Nicole. So when I saw that stat, I've seen stats like this before. So I was like, yeah, still quite present, still something we're seeing. Ransomware as a service. These are some of the top things that we're seeing in the world of operational technology or OT cybersecurity. So last year in our report, one of the things that became really present is that the fact that we have so many companies that are starting to really advance in digital transformation, which we have probably been talking about for 10 years. All right, we are going through digital transformation. Now we have to secure this and make sure it's resilient and add cybersecurity. So that was a big linkage last year. Manufacturers are very, I'll say, tasty to people who are looking to do cyber attacks. And that is for two reasons. The first one is that there's just a lot of legacy infrastructure in manufacturing. So we see things like the network, the operating systems, the actual infrastructure itself. A lot of times we see a lot of legacy, so that makes them a little bit more susceptible to having a cyber incident. And then another thing on top of that is that manufacturers are running highly critical things. So they have production, they need to keep it up and running. And these two things combined just, I think, make it very susceptible and also very, I'll say, open to attacks in a way that there's folks who think that, oh, well, if I affect the availability, now someone's going to be willing to pay out. So when we see things like that, I think it's kind of expected. Now, in this year's report, what we've seen is a stronger tie between AI and machine learning and how that is being used to really offset and, I'll say, advance some of those complex cybersecurity needs that manufacturers are seeing. So join us in the webinar to hear more about the use cases that we're going to be sharing there.
Yeah, that was so interesting to me in this year's report was just how heavily people are looking to lean on AI and machine learning to help with cybersecurity. That's such an interesting application. Okay, I'm going to share another stat. So this is, if you haven't downloaded the report yet, again, shame on you, rock.auto/SOSM, but here's a great stat from the report. I'll spill the beans. 48% of manufacturers stated that they are expecting to reskill or hire new employees as they modernize. So Vicky, what do you think this means as manufacturers are looking to hire in the cybersecurity space?
Yeah, so there's a huge shortage of cybersecurity people right now on the job market. There's just a shortage of workers, and when we start talking about OT cybersecurity, that's an even smaller pool of people who have that skill set. So reskilling becomes a place where a lot of companies are looking, whether it is someone who is already on the analytics side, on the data side, or maybe someone who is on the manufacturing side who wants to be reskilled and has that genuine interest and passion in wanting to learn more. So we see a lot of that happening. When we talk about IT and OT, there are some different needs between the two different sides of cybersecurity, but really bringing them together and having that deeper understanding of both pieces is where I think it's important, because that's where these cyber experts who are being upskilled every single day are really able to focus. So we'll talk about this a little bit more, of course, in the webinar, and it's available with some more stats in the report. But I think it really does go to show that this is a continuing need, which also probably leads to why AI and machine learning is being looked at for cybersecurity because of that shortage of skilled workers.
Super interesting stuff. So if you want to hear more, if you want to hear Vicky go really deep into this, and I'm sure you do, because I would keep asking you questions now if I could, because I think it's just so interesting. But if you want to hear more about this, we do have our webinar coming up. We'll put the sign up link somewhere very apparent, hopefully, but you can also find it on our website on the webinars page. Definitely going to be interesting to learn about what these trends are and how we think manufacturers are going to address cybersecurity moving forward. Thank you, Vicky. Okay, last but not least, Jordan, your turn to get, oh wait, hold on. Vicky, sorry, you're still in the hot seat.
Good. I was wondering where my bonus question was in the
Here's
class.
your
I was a
bonus
little bit left
question. Here's your
out.
bonus
Like Wendy
question.
gets one and I don't.
What am I thinking? That's not fair. So what caught your eye in the report as you were reading the data this year? Was there anything that really just grabbed your attention?
Yeah, so I was looking through the data and looking through some of the insights. And one of the things that I saw is that there's a lot of companies who have already started on their cybersecurity journey. Of course, I'm paying extra attention to everything cyber. And that is what we had anticipated as well, is that when we're working with organizations, we're expecting that they have probably started somewhere, even if it's like a network segmentation, putting in an IDS, they probably have something that they've already tried and are starting to do. And now we're looking for like that next level of cybersecurity. So seeing some of the stats around the percentages of companies that have already started their journey, I thought was what I was expecting to see.
And exciting. Yeah, exciting. Yep.
Good stuff.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can rest a little now, Vicky. Thanks for that.
Beautiful.
All right, Jordan, let's turn it over to you. So let's see here. What do I want to ask you? It's a long report. It's 26 pages of information. It can be a lot to digest. Can you talk to viewers? Let's talk a little bit more about the webinar that they might be attending upcoming. What can they expect?
Yeah, it's a lot of information, 26 pages. It goes into a great amount of detail around technology trends and operational and economic trends that are meaningful to our manufacturing customers. But you'll also notice a number of predominant themes in it. And I think that these themes kind of reflect the topics that our customers care most about and that manufacturers broadly care most about kind of in the age that we live in today. So artificial intelligence is a very obvious one. So specifically the way that AI is helping manufacturers kind of evolve from automation to autonomy. In any situation where you have an emerging technology like AI, you also have to think about the risks that are associated with it. So there's a lot of thematic topic on cybersecurity as well, both the ways that AI helps with cybersecurity, but also the risks that AI creates itself and how a really good cybersecurity posture can help mitigate some of those risks. And then in addition to a lot of the themes on automation, there's a lot of themes on workforce enablement as well. So we have to think as much about how we enable the workforce to work differently, smarter, more efficiently, more effectively, new strategies for human machine interface, new ways of accessing information on the plant floor. So you'll see a lot of themes about workforce as well.
Very good, very good. So something else that we do as part of this report, because one report is not enough for you all, is we create industry derivative versions of the report. So we break it out by auto and tire, CPG, consumer packaged goods, and life sciences, and we give you specific slices of the data. Jordan, can you talk a little bit more about those derivative reports?
Yeah, exactly. So, the main report covers a broad range of regions and industries and capabilities and technology topics, but we also have sub-reports that really dial in on specific industries that we know that matter, right? So, for example, we have a report on the automotive industry that kind of dives deeper into how the automotive industry is, turning complexity into competitive advantage, overcoming workforce gaps that are really predominant in that industry today, dealing with the integration of new emerging technologies, dealing with the need to manage data at a very large scale. We have a report that's focused on life sciences, right? So this talks about how the life sciences industry is leveraging some of these emerging technologies, but also doing this with high levels of regulatory compliance, which are really important in that industry as well. We even have a derivative report on consumer packaged goods that goes into detail on food and beverage manufacturing, personal care and comfort items, and things that are important within that industry as well.
Right. So we were able to launch the auto and tire derivative at the same time as the main report because we were working so hard. The life sciences one should be out any day now. And then we're doing CPG last, and we're taking our time with these. We're really getting into the data, figuring out, who answered what with each of the questions and trying to bring you the best insight. So that's why you don't get them all at once. We need to take our time and get you some good analysis of what our overall findings mean when you really silo it down by industry. So super interesting. Okay, Jordan, it's coming. So you were one of the first people who actually got to see the raw data of the survey. What jumped out at you? What was interesting to you or surprising or not surprising at all?
Yeah, I think I was really taken aback at just the percentage of manufacturers that are entering into significant investments in AI and kind of leveraging AI for autonomous systems development. And we're even seeing new use cases that are becoming really predominant. I think as the technology is maturing, things like vision and quality inspection really stood out as a predominant theme, in addition to predictive maintenance, kind of production optimization, even ways that AI is helping with cybersecurity initiatives, like incorporating things like anomaly detection mechanisms that are enabled by machine learning in your cybersecurity systems. Those things were really interesting. I also thought it was interesting that kind of a corollary to the investments in AI are challenges related to managing the data that's required to fuel AI training. And so in the ways that some manufacturers are handling data access, data contextualization, kind of the transportation of data from the edge to the cloud and back, to really make these new technologies operate at scale. So those are some of the things I thought were really interesting and that kind of reflected a new level of maturity in these technologies that were very exploratory at one point in time, but are really being used in a meaningful way in real life production scenarios today. And some of the ways that manufacturers are handling all of that, right? Equipping themselves and enabling them to create value out of it.
Yeah, it's insane how far we've come in just the last few years, really. Like, I remember a couple of years ago, we were all just throwing ideas out. Oh, AI could be really cool for this or for this. And now it's to the point where we're starting to see some very well thought out, meaningful applications of AI, some very hard work to collect the data needed to accomplish those applications. It's just really neat to see how we've evolved over the last few years.
Totally agree. And I think it's making the manufacturing industry more exciting than ever, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Vicki and Jordan and Andrew, for joining us today. We'll see you again on the webinar. And for those of you listening, if you are not yet signed up for the webinar, 'tis free. So by all means, sign up. If you cannot attend it live, that's okay. You can also watch it on demand. We'll record all of the insights that these three share on the webinar. You can find that on Rockwell Automation's website on our webinar page. It's right up toward the top of the list. Definitely worth the hour of your time to hear our experts break down the report. And then lastly, and I won't shame you this time, if you still haven't downloaded the report, you can find it at rock.auto/SOSM. You can get the report from there for free as well. So thank you very much for joining us today on this live stream. We hope you're excited about this report. We've been working very hard. We're excited about it. And we hope you join us for our webinar.